Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Skeleton Crew Episode 5. You have a lot to learn about pirates. We continue the trek here, right? The kids trying to get home, Jod trying to find the treasure, and their parents now freaking out because you're not supposed to leave the barrier, and there's no one. They continue to escalate this problem. So they finally take matters into their own hands. We're going to go into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, make sure to go check it out. This was a really, really fun episode, though. Before I get into spoilers, I think by now you know what the show is, and if you continue to kind of hate watch it, I guess that's on you. But I'm enjoying it. I understand that this is a show that is more geared towards a younger audience, but I think there's still something fun and entertaining there, especially if you like, if you like Goonies, Stand and Deliver, like all those kind of films from the 80s from Amblin and those kind of vibes that kids get into trouble and they don't have any adults to help them get, you know, like it's very, very fun. So here we go. So the parents, we see that they want to they want to try to do something to find their kids now that they know they're in space. So they try to get an access code. Now, unfortunately, they are caught by the some of the droids, but Fern's mom, we know she's pretty high up, so she's able to kind of diffuse that situation for now. Um, we see that Smee, now that he's back online and kind of reset, gives them information about the old captain, which Jod immediately recognizes. So we know that this is probably not good for the kids, right? The kids have a great disadvantage that not only are they kids, but they're also not very knowledgeable, and that's going to go back later on to the title of the episode. They head back to a secret lair, which is in planet Lanuta, which now has been turned into a spa, which is really funny, right? It was more like probably some kind of secret planet where pirates would go hide their stuff, and now it's a spa, so it's a lot more difficult to get in there. But they got to find the coordinates for Ad Aden are recorded by the old captain. Of course, we see that they run into a bounty hunter, which contacts Brutus, which I don't know. That was the only thing that I feel like sometimes this show gets rid of threats too quickly, but I also don't know if they're only playing with us that maybe the threat's not fully gone. So we'll see. Shenanigans ensue in the spa because that's what's gonna happen, right? Would they do make some friends with like this gigantic creature? They find the chamber. There's a really cool scene. Real quick, we do see a hut taking a mud bath, which is really funny. I don't think it's like any named hut. It's just fun to see the creatures that we know in the world. We see some of those the other race that are like the tax bankers from episode 1. Yeah, there's a lot of little cameos in if you look around the spa. But we do see that the pirates finally show up. He sent his pirates to get the bounty, pick up Jod. And as they're running away from them, we run into this acid chamber. That's a really cool, like it reminds me of like Indiana Jones and stuff, where they have to kind of get through these little chambers with puzzles. There's another really fun scene where a laser, it's a booby trap that cuts like, it would take off an adult's head. So like Jod and Smee are able to dodge it, get out of the way, but the kids are too short, so it just goes over their head. Like all those little details, I think it's what makes a show like this fun. Like, yeah, it's silly. We're not gonna kill any children on screen, so like, I don't know what you're expecting here, but at all times you do feel like, how are these kids gonna get home? So if you are bought into that premise of like, let's get the kids home, I think you're gonna have a good time with the show. We finally do enter the treasure chamber, which has a lot of really cool like little Easter eggs and stuff. If you look around, I didn't do it was I watched this on Christmas Eve, so I was not looking around to break down the full episode. But we do see one of the great, like a thing that I've never seen in Star Wars, and I'll talk about it in a second. So Jod, he was a pirate, he was a captain, he knows the captain's code, so he challenges Fern uh to a duel for the captain. Kind of like what happened to him, I guess, where uh his crew mutinied and overtook him, right? And Brutus came into power. So he uses the captain's code, and that's while we go back to the episode, because of course Fern, she's not going to be able to fight him. Jod has the Force. Also, he has another name in this episode, so that's really, I like that continuing premise of like Jod having multiple aliases all over the place. And we see one cool thing, right? So Will spotted a lightsaber earlier in this chamber, and this is the part where you would think like, oh yeah, Will's gonna be able to use a lightsaber and maybe not defeat Jod, but like we'll get that nice visual of a lightsaber turning on, right? And we don't. Actually, Will is holding it upside down, and he, like, when he turns it on, it bounces off of the ground and it just scurries away. I It's very rare that we see somebody like with a malfunctioning saber, or a saber that they don't know how to use. But that's what would happen if a child got a hold of a lightsaber. So that makes a lot of sense. And then at the end of the episode, they do tease us with like, as he's leaving, and he's got the kids captain and Jod. He's got the kids captive, and Jod is now the captain. He does use the Force to grab the lightsaber, and he turns it on, but we don't see it on screen. So I think we will get to see it probably in one of the next episodes. But we don't get to see we haven't seen a a correctly used lightsaber, but we have seen a lightsaber in this Star Wars property now. So put that on the checklist. Yeah, fun episode. I'm really enjoying this series. It is, it's not like peak Star Wars. This is on the completely other spectrum of like things like Andor, but it's still really fun and entertaining. So there you have it. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this episode if you have seen it. And stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.